Hi everybody, welcome to Meditative Recovery. My name is Don Kelly Cordero. I am a certified peer specialist, and this is a continuation of the series from SAMHSA. This is the, if you will, the cover of the brochureware that I'm using. This is the 10 Principles of Recovery as defined by SAMHSA, which is the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration from the United States government. Absolutely awesome organization. And by the way, this is not brand new stuff. This particular meeting that they pulled together, they made what is known as the National Consensus Statement on Mental Health Recovery, which I will be speaking about here shortly. Today's topic is recovery being strengths based, and we'll get into pretty good detail, but this is again meditative recovery. So what we want to do is always start, get into a meditative state, chill out, take our 5-minute vacation, as I say all the time, and open our minds to being receptive to learning. So let's go ahead and jump in. You know, if you're in a chair, sit up straight like I am, feet flat on the floor, hands down. If you can need to pause it to get onto, into bed or whatever. You can be on the floor, whatever works for you. And then, of course, we begin. I've got a little music in the background that hopefully will help us, chill out. So anyway, get rid of your hands. Just let them flop wherever they're going to be. And again, this is a guided meditation. I do what are known as body scans to increase our awareness of how our body feels in the moment. I personally have a history of a lot of pain and stress, and I use meditation to, among other things, it's like the fastest aspirin I can take. Awesome. So, without further chit-chat, let's get our feet flat on the floor, become very, very comfortable, and relax. Keep in mind that our body already has an architecture. We want to take advantage of that architecture because, believe it or not, even sitting up straight, we are capable of deep, comforting meditation. So with our eyes closed now, we once again begin to concentrate on our feet. You might wiggle your toes and then let them just be uncontrolled. And do that with your whole foot. Just stop controlling and let it be. Let your feet be, just let them exist. Now do your entire leg from your hip bones down. And be mindful that you may have like a pain in your knee. Pay attention to it, note it, and what I want you to do is let all the muscles go around that pain. Just stop, activating any muscle and just let it go. And it's my prayer that if you have perceived pain, that it diminishes in this exercise. Every time you exhale, feel yourself sinking into your seat, into the ground. And now let your entire torso relax. Find that sweet spot, the balance point for your head, where it's effortless to hold it on top, but let your entire spinal column relax. All the way down. And as you exhale, blow out pain. Just blow it out. Blow out stress, blow out tension. For now, it's all about your right to a bit of peace and quiet. Let that relaxation flow over your shoulders and into the tips of your hands, all the way down your arm. Again, if you have pain, note it, be aware of it, stop moving anything near it, and let relaxation and the deep meditation allow it to go away all by itself. And now let's do the head and neck. Forehead, a lot of people find themselves squinting. Stop doing it. Frowning, let your face just go featureless if possible. Let your cheeks relax. Open your mouth slightly so that you're not clenching your teeth. Let your neck literally all the way now from the top of your head to the tips of your toes, tips of your fingers. You surrender all pain, all stress, all strain. And as we exhale, we deepen the experience. We get closer to the ground, I like to say. It's a grounding experience. Now here's something very, very interesting. I do this so often, and I have a very interesting response. The deeper I get into meditation, the longer I'm there, I have a sensation that my body disappears. It literally goes somewhere. The only thing left is, if you will, my conscious mind, and I can play all kinds of videos with my imagination. But I lose a sense of being trapped inside my body. It's like my mind is free to go where it wants. You may not get there today, but if you keep meditating, at some point you're going to begin to be able to disassociate your mind from your body, and boy, does that ever maximize the relief of pain and stress. Literally, it's like trading in your body for somebody else's, at least for a period of time. Please stay in a state of meditation. Continue to exhale, and as you do, continue to lower yourself into your atmosphere. Get really well grounded, and continue to just concentrate on your breath, the sound of my voice as I go to today's lesson. Today's lesson is the recovery component of strengths-based. Okay. And isn't that a great thing? That we're going to base our recovery on the things we are good at or want to get good at, not the things we're not good at. We're not going to dwell on the things that don't help us. We're going to dwell on the things that do. And before I get into it, I want to share, again, as I always do, I want to share the short verbiage that comes from, again, the National Consensus Statement on Mental Health Recovery. This document actually came out in 2004, and it's awesome. It is absolutely the best material I've ever seen for the self or peer guidance or professional guidance to help someone in the recovery process. SAMHSA writes, strengths-based recovery focuses on valuing and building on the multiple capacities, resiliencies, talents, coping abilities, and inherent worth of individuals. By building on these strengths, consumers have stymied life roles behind and engaged in new life roles. Example, with a partner, a caregiver, a friend, student, employee, whatever. The process of recovery moves forward through interaction with others in supportive, trust-based relationships. A lot of interesting points made there, and where I'm going to start is to talk about our weaknesses, because whether or not we have an affective disorder like we might have bipolar diagnosis, we might have a diagnosis of major depression, anxiety, schizoaffective disorder, PTSD, all of this stuff affects our mood. And what ends up happening, as I've said it before, we tend to dwell, especially after the diagnosis, we tend to dwell on our weaknesses. What has this done to us? And we spend an awful lot of time spinning the drain and in our pity pot, um, in the thought process, it's like we've become weakened somehow, and we forget that we're good at stuff. We just do. So one of the things that in my own case, I had like no self-esteem, absolutely none. I was so withered by the process, and the main reason was, and this was pointed out to me, and I'll make a suggestion later on, but in fact I'll do it now. I'm going to suggest that you find a list of skills, just a huge list of skills, and get a printout of it. All right, print it and go through it and make check marks on things from that skills list of things you're good at. Almost like you're going to get ready to make a resume, but you put down the things that you're good at. I don't care if it's jump and rope or ice hockey or you're good at math or whatever. Put it down, okay? The reason it's so important is we're going to, in that process, we're going to rediscover the things about us that we're good at. And we're going to concentrate in this strengths-based recovery process first through self-identification. We can also use that copy if we're going to talk to somebody like, who's a professional peer specialist, like myself, or a social worker, or whoever might have some element of your recovery process. We have a list now that we can share of things that we're good at, and it will help people guide you in these strength-based areas, including gaining new skills. Sometimes we have to go back to school to get better at the things that, or if you will, reacquaint ourselves with the things we were at one point in our lives just awesome at. Some people are killer at art. If you want to go back to it, somebody like myself, a peer specialist, we help you plug back into art resources, etc. And again, this is something you have to do yourself. You have to first become aware, just like I did. When I did this drill, it was like 7 or 8 pages long, and when it was over, I couldn't believe all the things that I had, anywhere from fair to good to excellent competencies in. I forgot all about it because for years I had been dwelling in this land of self-pity because, hey, I was done with the affective disorders. I had labeled myself, and then basically it became almost like a terminal disease. I couldn't focus on my strengths. So you force yourself to do that. And what this will do is it'll give you a new sense of valuing yourself. And you're going to build on these strengths. These are things, they are tools, or if you will, or seeds. You'll replant them, and they will help you conquer, ultimately, the challenges, a lot of the challenges you're going to face in the recovery process. Let me tell you something. It was a night and day experience for me, and frequently we call it that moment of self-realization where you reacquaint yourself with the things you're good at, or the things you even want to get good at. Frequently I'll see in the eyes of someone I'm dealing with, there's a spark. There's just this moment of clarity, and you can literally see it on someone's face. Let me tell you something. I don't make a dime as a peer specialist. Everything I do is volunteer. And I will tell you, the best paycheck I've ever gotten in my life as a professional peer specialist was in that moment where I see someone's eyes change. You become reacquainted with your own values, and that's the moment where you begin to be hopeful for yourself. It's magic. It is, for me, it's the best paycheck I've ever had, and it doesn't have a dollar sign on it. It's just fantastic. Okay. Let's go in and talk a little bit about rediscovering. In that list, you're going to discover you have multiple capacities. There are things you can do that you forgot all about. It's like fantastic. You're also going to rediscover how resilient you are. All these things are coming from the reading. We're resilient people. We were built in a way, if you cut your finger, it heals, right? We don't do anything there, but if you will, there's a show of we have biological resiliency. Okay? Well, if you can cut your finger and it heals, you can also wound your mind, and that'll heal too. How do you do it? You do it through, in this case, we're going to find, we're going to go through a mental drill, self-evaluation, and then we're going to build on it so we can get out of here. We want to get out of this place where we're stuck and move on to much more productive lives, full of happiness, full of joy, etc. You're going to discover that not only do you have resiliency, but you have talent. Like in my own case, let me tell you something. If I had to make a living drawing pictures, I'd starve to death. For real. I am like worthless as an artist. However, personally, if I have a calculator, let me tell you something. I forgot all about how good I was at math. And now I'm back in a career. My daytime job is a direct result of me remembering how good a mathematician I was. So there's an example. I was able to plug back in, re-empower myself with help of peers and others, and boom, guess what? I'm back. And in what, not only am I back, but in the recovery process, you're going to discover that once you start getting it and start moving forward, you're going to become a very happy, competent person. What an awesome thing. An awesome thing. You can actually get out of this crummy place of suffering and transcend it all. You can actually return to a very productive life, and isn't that awesome? To me it is. And I'm living proof that anybody can do it. Okay? Now, after you discover some of these talents, you're going to discover, as you start rebuilding these talents, your coping skills go up. Ho! Stuff that used to bug me, I mean itty-bitty stuff, I know I don't care about. I just don't care about it. And if nothing else, some of the coping skills I have now is just, I had to learn to ignore stuff. Just blow it off. It's not that important. And one of the things I like to share, this is a quick aside, if I'm not getting paid to worry about something, why am I worrying about it? Okay? Literally, why are you worrying about stuff that has no compensation to you? Stop doing it. Just stop. Get out of the business. The worry business pays nothing. It never did. Okay? Now again, this is inherent. Okay? This is inherent. The stuff that works for me on my list of competencies is not going to work for you. You have to be the one who takes it inside yourself. The things that reactivate you, that get you excited, are going to be the things that ultimately help you conquer this persistent addiction in some cases, or the recovery, whether it's chemical based through illegal drug use, or if it's endemic to your own brain chemistry, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. It's going to be your ownership of that's going to make the difference as you go through. And it's just, I can't overstate how powerful that is. Okay. You're also going to find you build self-esteem. As you get better at stuff, isn't that kind of cool? As we get better at stuff in our professions, we start making more money, right? That helps with self-esteem. And we no longer have to worry about, if we know we have competencies, we don't have to have external forces that pump sunshine into us. We just don't need them. And it's my prayer that that you realize that within you now, you may not believe it right now, but already within you now, within your being, within your conscience, and within your body are literally all the answers that you're going to need to conquer what has been terribly debilitating. Believe it or not. Mark it down, come back to this video as you get further, and you're going to see it. You're going to have this huge increase of awareness of solutions that have been inside of you that you forgot all about. That's one of the reasons, okay, we dwell on strengths. because by building on strengths, we just get stronger and stronger and stronger. Sometimes we have to, as I said earlier, we get more education so that we can get even more competent in the things we need to do to make our lives better. Okay, and let me state this: when we get better at our own lives, we can also impact the lives of others. And a very important thing. Part of self-pity is narcissism. Oh, poor me. Okay, I'm suffering. You know what? After a period of time, you're going to get sick and tired of hearing yourself say that, and everybody else does. You know, it's not so much why you're suffering, it becomes why are you not doing something to minimize it or to eliminate it or to the greatest extent possible control it. It becomes really old hearing somebody whine all the time, and I'm sure nobody wants to be known as a whiner. So through the strengths-based process, we can eliminate all that. All right? Now, put my eyes on a second so I can read my own notes. Okay, now this is a key ingredient, okay? There is a factor in all of this, a major factor in all of this, and it has to be honesty. We have to be honest with ourselves, and we have to be honest with the other people that we're going to communicate with in the process. As an example, in my list of competencies, if I were to note that I'm a fantastic astronaut, that wouldn't be true. I'm not an astronaut. Just not an astronaut. If I put down I'm a great piano player, well, I can't play the piano at all. In fact, I have a hard time just getting my YouTube videos to play correctly. So it's not true. If it's not true for me, it will never be true in my communications with somebody else. Now, here's what the problem is. If I communicate to somebody who's trying to help me that I have a competency or a wish to become competent in an area, and I tell them that, hey, you know, I'm a great piano player. I want a job as a piano player. I want to work on my career as a piano player. I have no skills at all. Assumptions might be made that are actually injurious to you. And, you know, people's time is a limited resource. When you talk to people, and I hope you do, let those communications be based on complete honesty. Now, I'm going to tell on myself a little bit. I was so ashamed of myself. You know, when I was suffering, my capacities to achieve were heavily affected. I just couldn't get anything done. And I spent a lot of time trying to escape responsibility for all kinds of stuff. It was just easier to shut down than to step forward into that bright light and take steps to be truthful. So a lot of times I just simply didn't tell the truth. A lot of times I didn't tell the truth to anybody for any reason. Why? I was trying to protect myself, and I realized that now. I was ashamed of myself to a great degree with regard to my mental health recovery, and certainly I was very ashamed of myself to try to admit that I was a doper. I was a drug addict, okay? Well, here's what's cool, kids, for real. Once you get honest, you're going to start almost immediately gaining dividends that you didn't think were there. Amazing, the transformation, how quick it is. We become habitually a truth teller. And if people know that you communicate with them in truth, what ends up happening is they begin to trust you. And moreover, if you know you're telling the truth, as I do now, I know I can trust myself to make the right decisions and to pursue things that are healthy and that will help me in my continued walk toward recovery. So, sort of in all this, remember, the component that we're talking about is strengths-based. We want to be strong in the truth. Absolutely strong in the truth. Even if you've never done it in your life, try it. You're going to like it because the outcomes will profoundly change your expectation in the recovery process. Ultimately, what we want, and I think you'll agree, we want to find a way out of this miserable suffering that we have that comes with mental health recovery, to include substance abuse. We can get out of there, but we need, in order to get out of there, we need to dwell on our strengths. So I'm going to have you continue to meditate on that and to begin to think about what some of your strengths are. If you have time, when you're finished with this video, get out a notebook and start writing down some of the things that historically you've been good at. I don't care if it's riding a bicycle. If you're good at riding a bicycle, put it on the list. Reacquaint yourself with your strengths. If you're a good cook, write it down. You might even write down your 2 or 3 of your favorite recipes in the process. If you're good at painting or drawing or dancing or spinning pots or something like that, reacquaint yourself with that list. You can go on the internet. There are unlimited numbers of these lists that are out there, and you might just go to Google and type in human skills lists. You're going to have pages of the stuff. If you want, print them all up. In my case, I did check marks next to all the things I was really good at. And when the drill was all over, I had this unbelievable reaction. And it was like, you know what? I forgot all about this. I forgot how competent I was at certain things. And here's the thing I'll have you dwell on as we leave. Even though we think sometimes otherwise, not everything in our life is actually broken. What we want to do is concentrate on the things that are working, concentrate on our strengths, and ultimately get back up on that yellow brick road and walk into a land, into a future that even now we may not be able to visualize. But the more you concentrate on your strengths, you dedicate to building those strengths, the faster you're going to begin and you'll be able to sustain in perpetuity your recovery. So with that, I'm going to, again, invite you to continue to meditate if you want. You don't need background music, and you so sure don't need always to hear my voice. You can meditate on your own, and that's ultimately what I'd like you to do. Feel free, and I urge people, find some background music or place or whatever where you can check out. Believe it or not, in my office at lunchtime every day, I got my little earbuds in with my cell phone, pop into YouTube, I listen to some soothing music in the background, and I chill out 5-10 minutes, and it helps restore me. Maybe I've had stressors in the morning, whatever, but it helps me get ready for the afternoon. And if you will, this is a way, in a sense, to recharge our emotional and or spiritual battery. So take that to heart. Hopefully it's something you can use. I wish you again a very pleasant day. May God richly bless you, and Atma Namaste. Ciao, ciao, ciao.